Summer routines live or die by how easy they are. And honestly, if something takes too much effort, I'm out. That's why Groons is my go-to. It's my one daily pack of gummies covering my greens, vitamins, and minerals. Plus, it has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, which is more than 2 cups of broccoli. No mixing powders, no giant pills, no hassle. I just rip open the pack and I'm done. They taste good and they make it easy to stay on top of my health, even when life gets busy. Save up to 52% with the code PODCAST at Groons.co. That's code PODCAST at GRUNS.co.
Hi, everybody. This is Dawn Mitchell, and welcome to Dawn of Sports. This week, we are talking Minnesota Aurora soccer. They are riding high once again for a 4th straight year. We're going to hear from defender Annie Williams coming up.
That's right. This is Dawn of Sports. She's Dawn Mitchell. Thanks so much to Annie and the Aurora for providing us another great guest, and congratulations to Annie and the Aurora for another championship. I was out there last week a week or so ago, and the atmosphere is still great at these games. You will enjoy it if you go to the games. Anyway, we're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services studio. Best way to listen to this show or any of our shows at the network, please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. Check out talknorth.com for the best sports lineup in town and our outdoor content. Thanks to our producer, Alex Haugen. And back to Dawn.
I am so excited, Jim, because as they know, Annie ad nauseum, I was a soccer player growing up, and for the majority of my life, I was on defense. So I'm always loving to shine a light on a fellow defender. But first of all, out of the gate, congratulations, your 4th straight Heartland Division title. Won last night with that 1 point, with that 1-1 draw, your 4th straight trip to the playoffs, and you still have a home game to go. Annie, welcome to the podcast. That's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an exciting time, especially for those returners on our team that we have that have been here all 4 years and have been able to get that all 4 years. Yeah, it's so exciting.
Well, I know you're from Cottage Grove, and I know you have been playing soccer all over the globe, literally. Like, I want your frequent flyer miles, but this is your first year with Aurora. What were your expectations? And then now that you're here for your first season, how has that matched your expectations coming in?
I would say it's been an interesting but amazing transition for me. I think that coming in to a pre-professional league, going from playing professional to playing pre-professional, I had some doubts in my mind of how the transition was going to be for me, how training was going to look like. But as soon as I got there on day 1, everything Aurora surprised me with how professional it actually was. And I even noticed too, the environment, the resources, the fans, everything about it has been more professional than some of the clubs that I've even played at. So I think transition-wise, it was absolutely amazing. Being able to play at home has been such a blessing for me, and I could not ask for a better summer season with the Aurora.
Well, I also want to congratulate you on your pro career, because I'm going to let everyone that listens to this know just how well-traveled I don't even want to call you a well-traveled veteran because you're only 27, but 2 years in Italy, 2 years in Sweden, 1 season in Iceland, and a season in Costa Rica. Have I missed any country that you have played in? When I was seeing every place that you played professionally, I was like, this is amazing for a woman coming straight from South Dakota State in Cottage Grove. What a career you've had. Congrats.
Thank you so much. It's been very interesting and rewarding to be able to travel all the different places playing where I love.
Well, no slouches of countries either, right? When I was looking, I'm like, oh, Italy, 2 years. Oh, that was probably really hard to eat the Italian food and deal with the lovely Italian people. Sweden is gorgeous when it comes to soccer weather. Iceland is gorgeous, and you're not there probably at the worst time of the year anyway. And then probably no one's feeling sad for you with Costa Rica, but I bet you it prepared you for the heat yesterday, right? I'm sure it got you ready playing in that kind of environment. Which was your favorite?
I think I've had to answer this question a lot, and I would say sometimes it changes every single time. I would
Really?
say, yeah, I would say, my goodness, Italy soccer wise was so fun. Being able to play in Serie A was such a dream moment that I wouldn't have even known existed when I was young and growing up and playing soccer. But I think as far as living in different countries, I couldn't ask for a better draw of countries. Like Costa Rica, absolutely beautiful, wonderful culture. Sweden, same thing, beautiful, wonderful culture. A little bit cold for my liking, I would say. Um, Training outside when usually in Minnesota we train inside. And
Oof.
then, yeah, Italy has been, yeah, one of my favorites to experience new things, travel, take trains when I don't take trains coming from Cottage Grove, Minnesota. So having
Right.
all those experiences from the first time and learning new cultural things and new languages has been very fun.
You know, earlier in the season, I was talking to your head coach, Jen Larrick, who herself has been all over the globe playing soccer. And she was telling me about, yes, it's all football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, but there's so many different styles of playing when you go to these different countries. Have you found that to be true?
Oh, absolutely. I think that was one of my biggest things outside of the initial culture shock of living somewhere that I haven't lived before was the change in the way that they play soccer. And I didn't know before I got there, is one of those things. I'm playing the
Right.
soccer that I know how to play. And I think, oh, people are recruiting me for the kind of soccer that I know how to play. But it's different fitting into a system that I'm unfamiliar with. I think as far as coming back and playing in the US, being able to draw upon all the different styles of play that I was able to play in, and then kind of coming back to the place where I learned how to play soccer for the first
Yeah.
time has been a really kind of full circle experience because I'm able to take the knowledge that I've learned here and there from different countries, and I've been able to take what I wanted and kind of create a full picture.
What team would you say had the most challenging style for you that was the hardest to adjust to?
I think Italy was definitely the biggest change just because in the Italian game, it is very tactical in the sense of having a real game plan and having positions a little bit limiting in those positions, but a lot of knowledge that comes with each position group. And yes, everybody plays differently from team to team in Italy, but there's this very strong tactical, technical base that I didn't have growing up. And so jumping into that, even after my professional experience, was something that I really had to work with. I had to watch a lot of film. I had to be locked in meetings and really to just kind of have that be first nature instead of second nature for me.
Yeah, I know, just on the various teams I played, what would throw me off too as a young player, and I'm not talking about professional side or anything, but like back in your Cottage Grove days when you're playing in high school, we would get a
Mhm.
coach in that had a lot of experience, not just like the coaches that you had in town soccer or travel soccer. And then like they're throwing in the sweeper stopper, they're lining up people differently. They're having a different way that they're bringing with them. And I just know probably that was very helpful because when you're in high school, I think you're more malleable, when you're younger, like, oh, sure, I'll try
Mhm.
that. I'll do whatever. But to have the success that you had huge success in D1 playing for South Dakota State to have your style and your way, and then having to not only prove yourself professionally in a different country, but to learn it all then basically as an adult, that you must have been having a steep learning curve.
Oh, absolutely. I would say it was the best thing to ever humble me. Because as I
Uh-huh.
said before, coming from, collegiate success, coming from this mentality of I knew I had a lot to work on in my game. I knew I had a lot still to develop coming into even my first, second, and third professional contracts. But knowing that I needed to open my mind and be coachable and be willing to learn, be willing to try and to fail really changed the trajectory of my career and helped me to be open to coaching points, to little things, whether it's a direction, move 2 steps to the left this time, open your hips. Instead of looking in the middle, look outside, or vice versa in these certain moments. I think being able to pick up on those little things and always watching and seeing, okay, what is the game giving me, has been that extra edge that at first had to be met with a lot of humility from me, has become my biggest confidence, I think.
More with Annie here in a second. Great conversation as always. We do want to take care of the business, starting with Natrium, Natreum, natrium.com. I recommend going to the big store in St. Louis Park, checking out what they have. Then you can order everything at natrium.com. And when you do that, use the promo code TalkNorth15. TalkNorth15 will get you 15% off your purchase. I'm using it because I use their balms for muscle arthritis and tendonitis relief. I use their oil for gut health. I use their gummies and other stuff just for fun. And I love their sleep aids. And they even have stuff that'll just help you de-stress. If you're, I know there's some people in my personal life who don't really like speaking in public. Sometimes you take something like this, it just takes the edge off, helps you get through that. There's so many things that can help you in your life, or it can just help you have fun. So go to Natrium in St. Louis Park, or go to natrium.com, use the promo code TalkNorth15. I want to thank another great Minnesota company, Minnesota Masonic Charities. We'd also like to thank Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood.
Hey, Rosie here for Lexus of Wayzata and Lexus of Maplewood. If you're in the market for a new luxury vehicle, look no further than my good friend Charlie Swanson at Lexus. Whether you're on the west or the east side of the Twin Cities, they have got you covered with two great locations, Lexus of Wayzata and Lexus of Maplewood. Check out the all-new Lexus TX, a spacious SUV with 3 rows of seating and plenty of room for all your gear. Head over to lexusofwayzata.com or lexusofmaplewood.com for details and to find your next ride today.
We also want to welcome and thank 10K Construction.
Randy Shaver here. I'm bringing back Shaver's Prep Football Podcast beginning the end of July. Every week, we'll dive into the best of Minnesota high school football, and I'm proud to say we're now powered by 10K Construction, Minnesota's go-to guys for roofing, siding, decks, windows, and everything in between. After severe weather hits, they'll even come out and give you a free, honest inspection to make sure your home is in good shape. Schedule your free honest inspection today at 10kconstruction.com or call 763-200-6064 for more information. That's 763-200-6064. The land of 10K Construction.
Well, back to Dawn and Annie.
All right, so we're talking with Annie Williams, Minnesota Aurora defender, if you're looking on the roster, number 55. Annie, let's go back a little bit. We know that you were a huge star at Cottage Grove, but when you decided to go to the South Dakota State, some players want to stay in state, right? So you went out there, and man, your resume, and for those who are listening right now, I don't think we have time to list all of your accolades that you got there, but you are the second player in Summit League history to be named the Defensive Player of the Year in back-to-back years, 2017, 2018. That's not just month, where you've had plenty of those, Defensive Player of the Month or this and that, but to have the Defensive Player of the Year, for the Summit League in back-to-back years. It's hard to get it the first time, but then to repeat, did you feel that pressure, in 2018? Or you're like, I'm just playing my game and having fun? How was that for you?
I think the accolades that I received in my junior and my senior year at South Dakota State really came from the work that I put in my first 2 years and kind of the adversity that I faced in being able to push through and find a way to play in college. So, as you know, I'm from Cottage Grove. I played with my hometown club until my last year of high school. And then I switched to a bigger club in Minnesota. And at that point, I kind of came to the table and I was like, okay, I want to play college soccer. So I was pretty late in the recruiting process and I was looking everywhere. I had, as they tell you when you're figuring out what school you want to go to, dream big. And so I dreamt big. And will have to tell you, South Dakota State was nowhere near on the list. And so as I'm choosing these schools, I'm thinking, okay, what if it could happen? But time just kind of flew by as I was looking and as I was trying to make contacts. It was just the time of year where I just got a bunch of no's. And it almost felt like the doors were closed right in my face. And so I had this moment of growing up, which a lot of kids have when they're wondering, okay, can I play at the next level? That was the question of, am I going to be able to do what I want to do? And so it wasn't till my senior year, the winter of my senior year, that I went to a camp at South Dakota State because I have the most supportive parents ever. I told them, hey, mom, hey, dad, I don't know if I can, but I want to play in college and I want to play Division I. That is going to be my challenge and that's going to be what I work for. And they were really supportive. They were like, okay, come go to this camp and we'll go from there. And that's exactly what I did. I was the very last signing in my recruiting class. And 6 months later, I was in college. So it was kind of one of those things to where I didn't know why I was at South Dakota State. And my freshman year, I struggled to get minutes. I was playing out of position and I was kind of faced with that situation where a lot of us who go to college are faced with of, you're not the best anymore. You might not even be close. And so my first 2 years, I really had to struggle. I had to work. I had to be honest with where I was in my talent. And I had to think about what would get me on the field. And so I would say going through adversity, my freshman and sophomore years really helped me to kind of work on the skills that I didn't have before, maybe develop my game in new ways that I didn't think about because I wanted to be on the field. And with that kind of came this joy, this loving of the process that carried into my junior and senior year. And I have to say, didn't do anything different for those 2 years. I just continued on what I had been building. And I think for me, that was the biggest reward to be able to have something that I started building from freshman year, from the second I realized, okay, I want to play more. This isn't what I want yet. And I was able to achieve more than I could have even imagined by the time that I was done with the support of an amazing coaching staff, amazing support staff, and the best team environment that I've been in. So it really was a full circle moment that started when I was a freshman. And yeah.
It's really come a long way for just in the past few years, I would say, for young women to try to find their footing and make that leap to college. Some people just automatically think, oh, coaches are out there scouting and they're doing this. And like, yes, they are. But still, for women's sports, it's not quite the same. You have to do so much of that legwork. So what would be the number one piece of advice on these two issues? Like, what would you say to a young player that's in high school now, what she should really be doing? And two, your piece of advice when you're going through it. You know how it is. You're in college, like you said, you're trying to refine your way. so many athletes say, well, you tell me just to stay myself, but what is the number one thing that I need to do? What would you say to them?
Absolutely. I think that if even if I could go back and tell myself in the process as a high school player who's looking to play in college, I think it's that never be afraid to hear a no, because a
Mm.
no isn't a closed door on your dreams. A no is absolutely an opportunity for whatever is coming next. And I think when I was younger, I was so discouraged by the fact that, hey, someone told me to dream big and I did, and all I was getting was no.
Mm.
But when I look back at the big picture of it, of the story, those no's really helped me to self reflect, to refine some things in my game, and to really figure out my values and what I wanted in my career. Because I think the first no that you get is really hard to hear. But after that, when you're working, when you're in it, no becomes easy and you are able to really fight for what you want, fight for what your dreams are. And so I think don't be afraid of no's.
Well, and especially some no's are not even personal. It could be like we already have like two or three freshmen that are going to be sophomores on our team when you come in at your position,
Hmm.
So it could just be a numbers game. And that's really hard to hear when you're a high schooler. So the earlier you hear the no, the quicker you can move on to another school. But it's hard not to, like you said, to take that first no, the first couple of no's personally.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I think, again, for me, I was someone who I love to have things all planned out. Okay,
Mm.
here's what step one looks like. Step two looks like this. Step three, all I have to do is follow the plan and I'm good. I'll get where I want to go. But I think that we all know that that is almost never the case. Sometimes we have to go step one, step two, step three, back to one. We have to go again. We have to find a new way. Um, and I think that hearing no in that way, or having a dream of this is the school I want to go to, and I will only be happy if I go to this school. I think that those were some of the barriers that I had to kind of take a step back and really realize that whatever's happening is happening for a reason. And no matter what I go through, I can grow through it in that way.
And what piece of advice would you give to you? You said it, you go to college and you're not sometimes always the best one anymore. I mean, I'm not saying that you can't be,
Hmm.
but you're at a different level where other young women are coming from other amazing high school programs that are on the same level, if not. What kind of advice would you tell young women athletes to persevere and to maybe be aware and to change things like you did?
Absolutely. I think I have two big pieces of advice. One is going to be love the process. I heard it when I was in college with the South Dakota State head coach, Brock Thompson. He said, love the process, trust the process. And I think when I really bought into not winning championships, not winning Defensive Player of the Year, none of the accolades and awards, but when I bought into the day to day work and when I started to find joy in the little things of doing the things that I loved with my best friends that I met in college, that's really when I found success. And so, whether it's the mundane, everyday practice where you feel like doesn't matter as much, if you can enjoy those moments, whatever comes next, you will absolutely be able to enjoy and you will absolutely be able to be in the moment for those things. If you're in the moment for, again, those mundane things, those practices, those sacrifices that you make to be a better player and, even to be a better person. And I think with that, my second big piece of advice is going to be for athletes who are in college in that same spot is just to celebrate the people around you. I've been realizing more and more in my career. So when I started off as a freshman, I had that shock of like, you're not the best one here. And I think what I started to do in the beginning is really play that compare game of, okay, so and so is playing over me, but, you know, I'm good at this and they're not as good, and oh, they're better at me than at this, and that's why I'm not playing. And it really got me to a place to where comparison was killing me. It was killing my confidence. It was killing my joy. But through a great soccer environment that I was in and the people that I was around, I actually learned to celebrate all of the good qualities, all of the, strengths and weaknesses on our team, and to be able to say, okay, if my teammate who's in the same position as me does well, I'm so happy for her because it makes our team better. If
Yeah.
this person is playing over me right now and she has a great game, I'm so happy for her because my journey is my own and hers is her own. And nothing good comes to me from my teammate failing. And I think the other way around too, of when my teammate wins, I win. When our team wins, I win as well. And I think that realizing that throughout my college and professional career has really allowed me longevity in my career, and has helped me to build friendships and to feel empowered even in moments to where I'm not getting the starts that I want to. I'm not getting the minutes. I'm not getting the accolades. So,
Wow, that is such sage advice, not only for your own personal game, but just a gift that you give others. And just imagine now that you bring this to Aurora with a lot of, young women that are just trying to find their way still. Why did you decide, okay, now that I'm back home, what was that decision to say, I still want to play? And some people would have their ego and be like, I'm done. I'm hanging it up. I'm not even going to play at all. What was that like for you?
I think initially I absolutely did have that ego. I kind of had that imposter syndrome in the way of just like, okay, I've played professional. If I go back to pre-professional, like, what does that mean for me? What does that say about me and my career? But I think that after my time in Parma, what I really needed, what I was really craving, is a great team environment. I knew that, okay, I need to be in a soccer environment where I'm happy, where I have that joy, to where I kind of get to know myself as a player again, to where I can really be that kid from Cottage Grove who played soccer for free, who paid to play soccer. Sometimes I think getting into the professional realm and being there for years and getting paid to play and having everything seeming to be so cutthroat, so life or death at times when you're talking about promotion and relegation. I think I really just needed to feel like that kid from Cottage Grove who would go to the park, and I would go all the time with my twin sister, and we would just bring a soccer ball and have fun and, build relationships with friends, and we would just be there for hours. And so I think for me, the connecting with my past self with little Annie was such an essential experience. And I think I can't even really tell you why I came back and I was like so adamant about playing with Aurora, but I have just followed them from afar for since the beginning, and I have always heard amazing things about the environment. And so as soon as I had the opportunity, I jumped and I took it.
That is awesome. And I am so glad. I was at the game last night where it was a little hot, but it was awesome. And you guys rallied back. I mean, first of all, River Light had that amazing goal. No one could have saved that. That was just an unbelievable goal by them. So to not let it get you guys down, to have the wherewithal to come back and end with a 1-1 draw. You were still undefeated. You guys are 9-0-2 overall, still undefeated in the regular season for all 4 years. Talk about being part of something that's incredible in terms of Minnesota and lore that way. And you have one more regular season game that's this Saturday versus Rochester FC. Everyone that's listening, pack the stand, 7 o'clock, because then after that, it's the playoffs again. again for a fourth straight year for Aurora. This, for you, like you said, to fall in love with the game again and to see the success and to see the younger women that are coming in and just kind of getting a taste of it that, may go off and play pro. This program has launched many a bird, so to speak, into the pros. You must be really enjoying it full circle, aren't you?
Absolutely. I think having a combination, like a really good group of girls, we have a core group of returners who have come back every single year, who have been building. Like if you look at our success now, the girls that were here and we have our community behind us have really been building all these 4 years of our core culture of who we are as Minnesota Aurora. And I think being able to just be a part of it and to see the ways that it's grown, kind of to see our underlying values for me has been so amazing to just step into a place and feel the love and the joy and the community support that's there for Minnesota Aurora women's soccer. It is truly, I will say, I have never enjoyed playing in front of a crowd more than I have at Minnesota Aurora. And so it's been absolutely wonderful to just be here and be a part of it.
Oh, that is so amazing to hear. And you're such a gift to the program. You're leading the way in many respects for some of the younger women on the team. And Annie, I just want to thank you, not only for sharing that with us today, but for being the kind of person that recognizes everything about this program and wanting to be a part of it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been so awesome to reflect and to share different things and to be here.
And one thing before you go, I really want to give kudos to your parents because people say, oh, Annie Williams, but it's Antoinette Jewel Williams is your full name. Is that correct?
It is.
I love that. Antoinette Jewel. I mean, come on. Do you ever go by Antoinette? Let them eat cake?
I think I have. I have a select few who call me Antoinette. I was named after my grandma, my mom's mom, and she's absolutely adored by the family. So nice to be able to continue on her name and her legacy. So,
oh, it's such a beautiful name. It really is. And it just perfectly goes with who you are as a person. So, Annie, thank you so much for joining us today. Good luck on Saturday and then whomever you guys face in the playoffs, because I am putting it out there, whatever people want to say, manifesting, universe. I'm just putting the wishes out there that this is the year that Minnesota Aurora breaks through that championship drought and takes the whole thing home.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. And what I can promise is that no matter what, we will give a show. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. It was great talking with you.
Yeah, thank you.